Max O'Connell from South Australia setting it going. Victoria lead by 3 points. Marshall Dryle was at Walker. Drive Western Australia forward up towards full forward. Murray out in front, tried to grab that ball in but couldn't do so, taken away in defence up to where Walker grabs, and a good solid bump by Western Australia allows Walker to go through and kick a 6-footer, and Western Australia trail by 5 points, less than a minute gone in the last quarter.
Well, great football there by Western Australia, particularly from Farmer to get the ball down to Walker at the centre bounce. He came high over the back of Nichols and with a beautiful tap gave it to Walker and gave him the opportunity to follow up the play and bring up that goal for Western Australia.
At the end of the first quarter, Victoria trailed by 4 points. They jumped to the lead of 19 points at half-time, and at three-quarter time they were 11 points in front, and we just explained now 5 points separates them.
Chief goal scorer for Western Australia, Duperoozle with 5, and for Victoria 3 players with 3, Goggin, Hart and Dillon.
Underway she goes. Nichols is in there, so too is Polly. That's Walker, been thrown away there like a cream puff. Gets the free kick too because he didn't have the ball. He just kicked the last goal, and he'll send the Sandgropers further forward. Shouldn't use that word, Jack, I suppose, but we can't help it. That's what we refer to you. Western Australians. Down we go to the half-forward line. Over the head there of Murray. Racing forward now there is Hassaman. A hand pass across to Burt. This is good night. Nursey has a quick shot, but he was a little bit too far wide of the goal post. Even though he was only 3 yards away, he could only register a point.
I don't know about Sandgropers today. They're mud runners the way they're going. You'd have thought they'd been playing on the MCG all their lives.
Well, unusual football gets unusual results. Western Australia look better when they go for the short pass and open out and play teamwork rather than go for the long kick and give the Victorians the opportunity of taking the big mark in the pack.
Freeze going a bit Western Australia's way now. They've got 30... Oh, no, sorry, it's still Victoria's way. 28-20 by Western Australia. Blakemore, who faded out of the game rather badly in the third quarter, chipping in for a mark now. And it's been all Western Australia since the start of the quarter as Blakemore drives it right up towards full forward. In front, it's grabbed by Duperoozle. What will happen? It bounces through for the one behind. Duperoozle's got 5 already. Carroll's got 3 at full forward. Clark 2, Walker 2, Farmer and Marshall each 1. Murray, and there's just one kick the difference between these two sides, and it's all Western Australia as Farmer stood there and said, "It's yours, Bill Dempsey, you take it." Dempsey at centre half forward, and a big long kick from behind. It's Carroll flying high, but he can't claim it because it's Dempsey who flew higher.
Bill Dempsey for Western Australia, Gary Dempsey for Victoria. He's played a great game on the ruck. Got the ball to the half-back flank, but there's 2 Western Australians there. Picked up there by one of them. I think that was Len Clark or Hassaman. Down to the... right in the teeth of goals, and the big fella, Gary Dempsey, has taken a very timely mark. Phew. 3 points of difference. Victoria just hanging on to that lead at this stage. Down they go like 9 pins. Tumbling over is David Thorpe. He's appealing for the free kick. He'll get it too. And the Vics are playing desperately in the last line of defence, and a lot of the fire and a lot of the tackling has gone out of the Victorian game. Haven't seen any tackling at all today. To the half or the wing position. That's Stephen. Got one out with Blakemore, but it went through his knees across to Breho. Breho onto his left foot. He's played well on the wing, but kicked it into the man on the mark, and it's rebounded across the line.
3 points the difference. Western Australia jumped out well early. Victoria pegged them back and have had the lead for the rest of the day. Walker in there now. The hand pass to Blakemore. Blakemore, oh, well, that was dead obvious. And John Nichols.
Should have got 15 yards.
Nichols had a quick look upfield and saw that Blakemore had the open road and gave the free, but by that time things were closed up. But Walker doesn't mind about that as he drives up towards full forward. Burton up high, grabbed by Carroll, or not the best of kicks, although he's under pressure, and Carroll over the line in the forward pocket.
Western Australia finding trouble in kicking for goal, getting distance now, and from their kicks of 30 and 40 yards, there must be someone down in front of the packs waiting for it.
There's Burton. Nichols got his pound to it, down to the front to Goggin. Look at him go. He's quick off the mark in the mud there. It came through his legs, pushing the back there to Hassaman. He shoots one out to Walker. Walker onto his left foot. Kick. He kicked a good goal. It's might be the second one he's kicked for the corner. But it's only a point, and only 2 points separate them now. Victoria just hanging on.
Hanging on is the operative word. In the first 5 minutes of the game, they haven't had it over their half-forward line.
Bob Murray looking for a player that can mark it to kick it to. He's chosen John Newman. It's punched away from him by Dempsey. It comes to the ground. Francis Burke shoots a long handball out here to John Williams, the 19th man for Victoria. He trips over. Picked up now by Young. He weaves his way through the pack and a long kick down towards 3 of his forwards are in position. The arm stretch up. It's gone through the lot of them. Coming through the back there is Barry Davis. He's shuttled across the line. Taken the ball with him, waiting on the decision of the umpire. It is a point. 1 point the difference now. The Western Australians are really gobbling them up.
Jeff, another trouble Western Australia have is the big fellow Dempsey back in that last line of defence. He's holding up Western Australia on every avenue. They can only get the ball down to someone shorter in front. They've got a chance of bringing up goals.
Murray with the kick away out of defence for Victoria, right up almost towards the centre wing position. It came unstuck there. What's the decision? Umpire O'Connell said a free going Victoria's way, and it's Big John Nichols to take it. It's his third kick only for the game as Nichols puts it up towards the half-forward line. Western Australia in the van. An opportunity. Who was it coming through? That was Shields who got it out into the open. Blakemore, look at Farmer in the middle. The big cat ranging around the middle of the MCG and playing like a man inspired as he gets it out to Walker. Walker goes goalwards for Western Australia. It's Western Australia mark in front.
Mark, it had to be.
Didn't pay it. Duperoozle pulled it down and wasn't paid it. In the centre of the ground. Western Australia lifting themselves all over the ground as Young goes forward again for the Sandgropers. Up towards full forward. Carroll pulls it in. And Carroll on a very acute angle. Western Australia trail by 1 point. They've never been in such a good position to beat Victoria on their own mud heap. Carroll, who's got 3. And listen to that crowd trying to put him off.
Hit the post. Hit the post.
Hit the post, and it's all tied up with 7 minutes gone in the last quarter.
Well, a great opportunity for Carroll there to put Western Australia in front for probably the first time ever in the last quarter at the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
They'll talk about this one for years. Victorians and West Australians too, Jack. There's Murray's kick. It's a long one out to Newman. A push in the back, but a good mark taken there by Burton. And it was a mark. Good bit of acting though by John Newman.
Bradley Smith.
It's Smith. My apologies. Smith from the half-forward line. The score's a level as he drives this one forward using the Burley ball, the West Australian ball in this quarter. A little bit of jiggery pokery. Look at him go. That's Billy Walker. Shot one back to whom? This time it looks like Denis Marshall. He's going, running around the pack. Sees a lead. Shoots it across here. A snapshot there. It's a good mark too. It'll be a mark.
That's a man. And in this 7 minutes of this quarter so far, Western Australia, the whole 18 of them look as though they can't do a thing wrong.
Well, they're playing well. They're getting the ball to one another. And this short passing game in front of goals has the Victorians in trouble. Only the Victorians come out of it well when they go for the long kick, and the big fellow Dempsey and company back in front of goals does the damage.
As a man has put Western Australia in front. In front by just the 1 point.
Thompson off for Victoria, being brought off by the runner. Murphy going on. Evidently, Jeff, Victoria could be worried about the short passing game, bringing a little fellow on like this, or is the only one they've got left, really.
Well, there's two, Jack, but Thompson was about the only effective ruckman, together with Dempsey, that is, in the ruck department, because Nichols and Newman haven't done overmuch. The ball goes out towards the half-back line. Murray elected to kick it on the outside. A good mark. The fellow up there in front of him was Newman. He races away with the ball. Now the Vics have got to get themselves into action because they're a point behind. It's Western Australia to mark again.
Styles.
So it's Styles, the back pocket player. He's on the half-back line. Sees a lead there from Blakemore in the centre, who was marked absent in that last quarter. He's into it now, though. Shoots one down to the half-forward line. Marked there by Marshall. Marshall at the half-forward line. A fellow with all the experience that this fellow has will steady the game up because he knows he has all sorts of time. We've just played 9 minutes into the third quarter, or the last quarter rather.
Ian Cleland pointing out that Marshall's had 9 kicks so far in the second half.
A goal here will put Victoria in trouble. It's a good-looking kick too. It's going to land into the goal square. No one can mark it. They're stretching up there. It's Burton.
Paid the mark to Burton.
Well, Jack, what do you say about that one?
Well, I'm glad Burton had it. He must have been the taller one than him and Dempsey. Certainly going to be a very handy kick if Burton can convert this kick to a goal for Western Australia.
Oh, all the stand at the back of the goal there are just standing up on their toes.
One point only.
Glorious
Western Australia
opportunity.
needed a goal to start cementing this situation that they've got. But they lead by 2 points, and it's a case now of Victoria has to get back into the game, and they haven't been in the game in the last 10 minutes.
WA 4 shots at goals, Mike, and any one of them could have been a goal.
Murray. Way to the half-back line. Pulled in by Newman. The pace of the game seems to have slowed a bit. Newman, Farmer, out into the open. Back again to Polly Farmer. Knocked on, Walker and Goggin. And then Blakemore, and Blakemore refuses to let Goggin take it away, grabs it from him and drives up towards centre-half forward. Burton trying to pull it down. Marshall in there. A good hand pass by Marshall gives Duperuzal an open road into goal.
He kicked it.
And that's his sixth.
6 goals to Duperuzal, and good football again by Malcolm Brown. Brown shepherding Duperuzal off and giving him the opportunity then of going in and bringing up that goal to put Western Australia in front. Blakemore, they're teaming better than Victoria at present. They're looking for their teammates when they get the ball, and this is proving very costly to the Victorian side.
Comment from former Western Australian star Jack Sheedy on behalf of GTV9 and TVW7.
That's Newman in the ruck, but Walker's got the ball now. He's smothered there by Dillon. Free kick going Victoria's way to Newman for interference in the ruck. On his mark is Polly Farmer. The first time for the quarter that Victoria have been on the forward line. Hudson looking like as though he's trussed up there. A very poor handball there by Hudson too. Put his teammate in trouble, because on top of him was Smith. The teammate happened to be John Murphy, who's just come on. He's the 20th man for Victoria. Newman at the Murphy. This is better play. Murphy cleverly blind turns, and a shocking kick capped off that work. It's out of bounds on the full, so this will be a Western Australian free kick. They can ill afford it at this stage because they're 8 points down.
Victoria with both reserves on the ground. Western Australia with 2 to come. Would you throw them in now, Jack Sheedy?
No, not at present. I wouldn't bring them in yet, mate.
There's a kick. 3 Western Australian players there. They muffed it. Comes out of it there through Smith. Smith across there towards Stephen. Stephen puts it into the middle there. Across there towards Breho and Thorpe. They're having a race with the ball. Clashed hip to hip there. Breho comes off best. Turns back onto his left foot now. Good pass there too. Oh, snapped up there. A great mark by Hassaman. And the Western Australians are playing magnificent football in this muddy ground. There's a kick, but it right into the arms of Francis Burke, but he lost control of that one too. Picking up cleanly as Walker. He's tackled, but I think he'll get the free kick this time. Play on, says the umpire. It comes down towards Smith. He got the ball out of trouble there. Coming through there was Bedford. With the ball now is Breho. His left foot kicked down to the forward pocket to Burton. Couldn't quite take it in. Duperuzal's kick, 6 goals. He's been the star of the match. Turns onto his left foot. Sees the lead there from Blakemore. He can't get there in time. The arms of Stewart are there. It comes up the hand of the pack. There's Blakemore now, but the whistle is gone. The free kick is going, but it's going to Victoria.
Davis, a bit lucky. I think he paid the mark.
Davis with the ball, only a few yards out from goal, but he puts it up into the middle of the ground now. It's Dillon who pulls it in, feinted with the hand pass, goes up towards centre half. Western Australians all over the ground have lifted themselves. Styles pulls it down. He doesn't need to lift himself. He's been turning in a great performance all day. Polly Farmer. Farmer with another lead from Dempsey in the middle of the ground. It won't come off because Murphy goes over the top. Taken away by Hart. Victoria facing a situation that they rarely face. They're at the moment being beaten on the MCG, and they've got to get back into this game. Hudson getting a push in the back, 8 to 3. Hudson, who has been kept well and truly blanketed all day by Riley, puts it up towards full forward, over the line, and another free kick, this time going Victoria's way to Goggin. Again, for the push in the back.
2 very costly free kicks by Western Australian players there to allow Victoria back in.
31 frees to Victoria, 24 to Western Australia. Marks of Victoria 48, Western Australia 44. Goggin. Even the goal here will still leave Victoria behind, and he's kicked only 1 point, and the Western Australians breathe again.
Well, that's Victoria's first score for the match, 1 point, for the quarter rather, and the Western Australians have done much better than that. They've managed to kick 2.
Kick off, and look at that man that's found. It's found Jesselenko on the half-forward line. Jesselenko to right up into the goal square. Nichols up high, but there was a Western Australian player, I fancy, or was Dillon. Dillon in front. Farmer, Nichols and Dillon.
And what do you think Cole's having to say to O'Connell?
Passing the time of day with him.
Yeah.
Dillon, who's got 3 already for Victoria. He's only 25 yards out on a very slight angle, and he's missed, and Western Australia can do no wrong, and Victoria can do no right at the moment.
Well, WA breathe the game. Very fortunate there for them too, because Dillon has been kicking brilliantly all day. A very accurate torpedo punt kick, and now Riley is to kick into play to give Western Australia the opportunity.
There's John Wally, a short pass. That's dangerous, but it came off already. Found Polly. Polly at the half-back line. He's done everything right today. He's got his players really working like a machine. They're running all over the ground. There seems to have got 40 players on the ground. There's the kick out towards Breho. He's played well on that wing. He's tidied up both wingmen, Thorpe and Burke. The handball comes out towards Goggin. Goggin picks it up. It's still in play. You can just see the line there. Cleverly ducks around the man of the mark. He's tackled. He's lost it. It's a holding the ball decision, rightly so. And Goggin, when he should have gone on and kicked that ball, heard that fraction of a second and he's lost it. 99 to Victoria. 105 to Western Australia. Breho, good left foot kick too. Great, it's travelled the ball down towards the half-forward line. Barry Davis. Stewart coming off the ground. Mel Brown in all sorts of bother. Threw the ball and again he set after it. He's a strong fellow, but he's carted it and himself across the line.
At the throw, Dempsey and Newman, number 12 respectively. Over the top came Farmer. Bedford's there. Seems to have faded out of the game a little in this last quarter. Hart the hand pass onto a teammate in Murphy. On the ground as a reserve for Victoria. Murphy has slammed it up to Big John Nichols.
The umpire's worried about the little bit that was going on behind and allowed it to play on.
Nichols puts it up towards full forward. Hart dropping back from centre half forward, pulls it down. He's got 3 for Victoria so far. A goal here will tie it all up again with 16 minutes gone in the last quarter. Hart has put it through the middle for Victoria, and it's all tied up.
Well, a great mark there by Royce Hart and a good goal as well. I thought for a moment a little fracas that was going on behind the play that the umpire might stop it, ball it up and bring it back, but that was not to be. And Western Australia again in a little bit of bother as the Western Australian runner comes out on the ground and has a word to them. I think he's only urging the players on.
So too is...
I don't know whether that's allowed. Is it over here?
Yes and no, Jack. It depends on how you do it.
The bounce down. Dempsey, Victoria going forward, but Breho in there takes it away. No, it's taken away from him in turn by Wayne Richardson. Drives it up where the mark has been pulled down in defence for Western Australia.
Bradley Smith.
And it's Smith with the ball at centre half back, and with 17 minutes gone in the last quarter, the scores are dead level. Breho with the front position in front of Thorpe. Gets the hand pass out into the open to Burton coming through. Burton carrying that leg still. Thorpe. Walker like a terrier drives up towards centre half forward. Punched away in defence by Victoria. There's Farmer, frustrated, couldn't grab the ball in. Taken away from him by Griffiths, and Victoria taken up towards centre half forward. Jesseleko in there. He's grabbed by Farmer, taken away from him. The Western Australian players playing with desperation as it comes to Hart, and Hart coolly and calmly turns, looks for Hudson. Punched away by Riley. Hasn't allowed Hudson an inch all day. Smith in there for Western Australia. Players stumbling and fumbling. The pressure is enormous at the moment. As you can see by that scoreboard, there's every reason for it to be tremendous.
Nichols and Dempsey. Dempsey got a double fist that one. That Styles couldn't quite stop it as it rolled across the line. There's the scoreboard. You can see for yourself. 16-9 Victoria, 105 Western Australia, 15-15, 105. It's a dead level pecking. Polly Farmer with the ball now. Kicks out to that negative flank. There's 2 Victorians there. One's got a mark at all. Good mark by Dillon too. Stretched his body up very well, ushering the player back from his mark. Directs the play right down the centre of the ground towards Hart, who's winning in that position. He's about the only winner. Polly! How does he do it? Magnificent! This could be the last time. In fact, it will be the last time that you'll see this great champion playing on the MCG. Look at that kick. Shot out of the rifle to Young.
20 kicks to Polly Farmer.
20 kicks to Polly Farmer. Magnificent effort.
15 yards. Asked for it and got it.
Victorians...
Not a bad 15
On this
either.
occasion, I wouldn't mind that 15 yards.
Yeah. 15 leagues. George Young, magnificent pass. It's been indicative of the West Australian passing all day. A tribute must go to them because it's a wet ground. There's a kick from Blakemore down towards Mel Brown, but he's muffled. He hasn't played well today. The 1969 Sandover medal winner, so it'll be a throw-in. Burton getting himself into position. There's Newman from the back. Newman got a hand to it. Kicked off through the pack there by Walker. Across to Duperouz. He's had a brilliant day. He's kicked 6. Griffiths coming out through the pack now. Runs into a wall of players. That's Blakemore with the ball now. Kicks it down towards the full forward. But Dempsey once again, who's been the tower of strength in that last line of defence, has taken a very timely mark. The scores are level.
Big Gary Dempsey puts it away towards the middle of the ground. Smith pulls it in for Western Australia. He'd be 45 to 50 yards out from goal. They're all pretty tired. That ball's pretty heavy. It might be a fraction far. Is there a lead? No, the Victorian's covering a short one, which he would have ignored anyway. He's going for distance, right up into the goal square, and it's a case of who can get up the highest. No one can decisively. The hand pass to Marshall from Mann. Marshall puts it across towards centre half wall, right in front of goals. And it's Stewart who pulls it in for Victoria.
Yeah.
Cool and calm and holds up the attack. Now that was a bit of a nasty sort of a thing to do from John Williams. A couple of top centre half backs for Victoria, Stewart and Williams. Stewart's occupied the position all day for Victoria today. In the middle of the ground, Farmer. Farmer still keeping his side going. Smith to Blakemore. Blakemore about to be flattened, but gets his boot to the ball, puts it up towards full forward. Dempsey in the way again.
Western Australia are running an extra ruckman on the ball at the present time in Burton, Farmer and Smith are all on the ball together, and this is allowing Dempsey sweating back in the back pocket or in the square to take these timely marks and get Victoria out of trouble.
They need a bit more of that, Jack, at the moment. I think they're in a lot of bother.
20 minutes gone in the final quarter. It's all tied up.
The star of the ruck division, Gary Dempsey, kicks the ball, but right into the arms of Denis Marshall. There were 3 Western Australian players here. No Victoria player waiting for the ball to drop short. Should know better than this because they've played on wet grounds before. Denis Marshall, been a star since he was moved to the half-forward flank position. There's his long kick. Dempsey, he's played it again. That's 3 in a row that this great champion has taken. Gary Dempsey, a tower of strength for Victoria. He swings play around the member side of the ground over towards Francis Burke, and Murphy's there too. Burke gets it across to Murphy. He's got a ton of space in front of him now. Alexis shoots a pass towards Jesselenko. He came out trying not to face. They only gained about 25 yards advantage, but maybe it settled them down a bit because this time they'll get the ball on their forward line. Jesselenko's at a long kick. It's up towards the half-forward line to Hart. Oh, look at that. A great mark taken there by Styles. Styles, a back pocket player, sees a lead in the centre from Burton. The big fellow will mark this one, no worries. Takes his time. Quarterback going off. Kicks the ball out to the centre to Blakemore, who's come right back into the game in this quarter. Great fella, an education to watch him play. His kick is not a good one, though, however. Racing through this time is Duperouzal, I feel. No, it's Carroll. Carroll kicks it towards the forward pocket. Knocked away from Brown there by Stewart. Brown on the ball now. Shoots it into the hands of whom?
And gets a free kick. Brio.
It's Brio, is it?
From the wing. And he got one to go on with as well.
22 minutes gone in the final quarter. The score's all tied up. Greg Brio with a great responsibility for Western Australia. He's 35, 40 yards out. If he so much as scores anything, it puts Western Australia in front. Dempsey again. And the big fellow proving to be the only thing standing between Western Australia and victory at the moment. On that half-back line, Murphy there. Burke. What's the decision? It's a free to Murphy. Around the neck, said umpire O'Connell. Murphy with the ball on the half-back line for Victoria. Puts it up to where Jesselenko gets the run of it on that centre-wing position. Throws it out in front beautifully. Gives himself the chance. Puts it up towards full forward. It's all Western Australia as Riley pulls it down and throws the hand pass out. And his teammate didn't bother to try too hard. Smith as it rolled over the line. But they can't afford to let up. Neither side can afford to let up. And at the MCG today, we're seeing a tremendous game of football.
It's do or die. Goggin versus Walker. Big Nichols comes through. Staying a kick behind. The Victorians have a spare ruckman in the centre of the ground as well. Over the head there of Stephen. Stephen pushed in the back there, but the Hudson's coming through. That's Hart bursting his way through the pack now. He got the ball away. Tackle pretty strongly. It could be a free kick. Sure is a free kick. And the West Australians are tackling well, but the Victorians aren't. And this is a facet that's been missing from their game all day. There's a kick out towards the wing position.
Shields.
Marked there by Shields. He's played, he's had a lot of trouble against Hart today. With better judgment this stage is Bedford. Bedford across to the half-forward line. Dillon can't get there in time. Taken away by Polly. He's had about 22 kicks and about 87 handballs. Here's a handball back to Billy Walker. Walker back towards Burton. He's playing like a row with this big fella. They've really lit themselves, the Western Australians, at this stage of the forward line. Mark almost taken by Duperouzal. Coming through there is Carroll. Got the handball away, but it was too fast and it's rolled across the line. 100 to 5 versus 105. Dead level.
Jack Sheedy.
WA playing great football still. Big Burton in chance to get away with it, but can't go on with it. Starting to run out of gas off Earl.
Murphy hits Jesselenko on the chest. Jesselenko having to range far and wide to get the kicks now, though. Tapped away beautifully across to Francis Burke. Burke goes forward for Victoria, up towards full forward, and the Dillon spilling that one. It comes out into the open to Bedford. Bedford lines up the big sticks and puts it over the line and out of bounds, and it's still all tied up.
We've just hit the time-on period in the last quarter. It's been tied up for 7.5 minutes.
Best players for Victoria are Hart, Jesselenko, Goggin and Dempsey, and Duperuzal, Walker, Marshall and Palmer for the West.
Almost a free kick going in the ruck there as two tied ruckmen crashed into each other. Newman gets a handball away to Hart. He's been a star for Victoria on the half-forward line. Got the handball away, but not calmly enough. That's Dempsey coming forward once again for Western Australia. Out towards Breho. Breho using no effective handball. Finds Blakemore. Blakemore runs away with tons of pace. It's a good directed kick to Walker. He's in front. He's marked it.
Paid the mark or he played play on?
He'd get both.
Paid the mark.
The umpire's almost 100 yards away, but he paid the mark as Walker was well in front this time. He's 50 yards from goal. He sees a lead and gives it. It's dangerous, but he's got it. I think it's Denis Marshall.
Neither side has scored for 8 minutes.
At that moment, then Walker had no opportunity of kicking the ball long, Mike, because Dempsey was the only player again waiting in the square for Victoria and keeping Western Australia out.
Denis Marshall could put Western Australia in front with this kick. Look at the result. It'll drop short. Dempsey again couldn't mark this one. Walker's got it, but he's tackled pretty well before it. It's kicked off the ground. It's a score. Score, it's gone across the line, right across the face of goal on the full.
Out of defence for Victoria towards that centre wing position. Dillon up high, couldn't pull it down. The Western Australians finding an extra yard of pace. Victoria unable to get in front, neither of the Western Australians, and that's what's making it such a great game of football. As Clark on the half-back line with the job of minding Jesselenko after Marshall was moved, puts it across, but it's grabbed by Bedford, and the Vic swoop forward. Picked up by Wayne Richardson. Victoria hits the front. They lead by 1 goal and the Victorian fans go mad.
We're into the time-on period.
Western Australia then had the opportunity of going across to the centre of the ground by Clark over to the middle, but elected to kick a long kick instead of going for the short passing game, which they had been succeeding in, and Victoria broke through. Bedford, he's been a dangerous player in the centre whenever he got the ball. He was the player for Victoria that got it down and gave Richardson the opportunity of kicking that goal.
The big question, with a minute of time on gone, Western Australia showed tremendous fighting spirit to get back and be level. Can they go on with it and get back into this game? Goggin taking Victoria forward, up towards Hudson. Hudson couldn't claim it. It's taken away again by a Western Australian. It's Styles, but then out the open space as it goes, it's picked up by Clark. Clark upfield, and Thorpe kicks in for the mark. Time now on Victoria's side, with almost 2 minutes of time on gone. Thorpe, deep into attack for them. Right up towards full forward. It's a Western Australian mark. Was it Stephen, I think, who took it? Stephen puts it out into the open. Breho takes his time and puts it to 2 players, a Victorian and a Western Australian. He had no option but to put it up there and let them contest it. Hand pass, but umpire O'Donnell said you didn't get to it soon enough.
He ducked his head too, Mike.
And Williams taking the kick for Victoria. Puts the Vics in. Hudson.
Free kick against Hudson for Vic from the back to right. A little bit late.
3 going against Hudson, and Riley takes that kick away for Western Australia out towards the centre wing. Breho, one of the Western Australian stars all day, unable to pull it in. Victoria lead by a goal, and it's been a tremendous game of football on the MCG.
They had to try and tie up the
high. Goggin. Dempsey. On that half-forward line. Picked up and taken away for Western Australia into the middle of the ground. A beautiful pick-up by Bedford, and he drives Victoria forward. Who's in the way? Dempsey, the only player there, gets it to Riley, and Riley will sweep Western Australia out of trouble.
Hand in glove is Riley and Dempsey on the back line. Out of trouble, the Victorian side will have to try and tie this one up, or at least tighten it up. They're holding a lead at the moment by 1 goal, with time running out almost at the 30-minute mark in this last quarter. Big Burton gets up a double-hander, comes down towards Styles. It's a back pocket player, back towards Burton again. Is it or Smith, I think. Smith reaches the centre, but Williams has marked it right on that outer wing position.
What a fitting end to this game if it was a draw.
It deserves a draw, Mike. There's no question. And there it is.
Western Australia turning on their greatest ever performance on the MCG, and Victoria pulling out all stops in the last couple of minutes, turning on a very, very fine performance to get back after being in bother. Western Australia have never been closer on the MCG. Victoria, 17 goals, 9. Western Australia, 15-15, 6 points the difference, and a tremendous game of football. Jack Judy, I think you'd agree.
Certainly, Mike. WA can be very proud of their players today. They played very well. They played a short passing game. Unaccustomed in Victoria to playing on the heavy grounds, they went for the short passing game and succeeded. And I think had they have continued with it into the last quarter, that perhaps they might have taken out the 4 points.
That takes us out from the MCG. We hope you've enjoyed it through Channel 9 in Victoria and Channel 7 in Perth.